This is just my own curiosity. Obviously, this is what acting's all about. But when you have in these films expressed things that are incredibly disturbing to say, I'm a Jew hunter, what does that at that moment feel like?
Like a word.
Really?
I actually, that's why I love playing Quentin's text. And I say text on purpose. It's not just a dialogue, it's a text. Because you do not have to, as I said before, make something of it. You follow the word. It's all on the page. It's
really?
Like music, It really, you can just jump in and let it carry you, and carrying it does.
Who else do you think is that good of a writer? Who, you've worked with some extraordinary directors.
Well, I would never say someone is worse than the next guy or better, but they all have, thank God, they all have their way of expressing what drives them. It just happens that I feel Quentin sort of writes for me.
Well, he does. He has certainly said that in Django, he had you in mind with that part, and I see them as a very coherent exploration.
Yeah, but and as strange as it might sound, I mean that more from my perspective only. It is my feeling that I get that Quentin writes for me, not so much that Quentin actually does or not.
Right.
What most of my effort goes into is to disregard my own opinion, to not pass a judgment on the character that I'm supposed to play, because what I am saying to you right now is more or less what I'm convinced of. So the same thing happens for the character. The character doesn't, voice an opinion about himself.
He just lives it.
He lives it.
Is it different acting in English than in German?
I wonder. Somehow for me, it feels easier. I don't know whether it is. It feels easier. I find English a more dramatic language, meaning, especially for comedy, you don't spoil the punchline. You can say it and then you kill the punch. You just sort of shoot, the gag, and you hit it straight on. In German, because German is such a complex and construction of things, and the order and the syntax, and so you kind of spoiled the gag mid-sentence, and when you finally make it to the end.
So there's not a big comedy scene in Germany.
Well, unfortunately, there is.
And now you're working with Tim Burton on Big Eyes,
Right.
And that is a movie about the husband and wife team who painted the little orphan, or the urchins, I should say, with the gigantic eyes that were very popular in the 50s. What's Tim Burton like as a director?
Well, Tim Burton is precise too, but in a different way. He follows, well, not that Roman doesn't, but he follows very much his vision of vision in the true sense of the word, the visuals of his creation. And so they all come from different ends. That's why it's so interesting to work with different people. I always think the poor directors, they only have themselves. They never get to work with another director.
Right.
You know, so they have to suffer all of that until they go out, and I can just say after the job, thank you. I'd rather work with the other guy.
Have you directed?
I have.
And do you enjoy it? Is it?
I love it. It's one of my great ambitions, and I can't get it together.
To direct?
To direct. I you know, seem to fail every time I'm getting close.
You mean getting a project?
No, I have had the projects, and they like 3 weeks before I start shooting, they fall apart. I feel more and more movies are being made because we can, from a technological point of view. But more disturbingly, more and more movies are being made because they can be gotten together financially.
Right.
I say that's not enough reason. I don't want to bash studios because that's too easy.
Right.
But I can't deny that I'm wishing for a more adventurous spirit. And I mean that not technologically, you know, because we all know that if your computer is big enough, you can do anything, you know.
Right. But more in storytelling, or
yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's the medium of our time. You know, we should not remake old stuff over and over again because it proved commercially successful. We should actually be more responsible. We have the privilege of being part of this. The privilege always comes with a responsibility. And we don't use it responsibly. We are the lemmings who sort of, you know, scurry along with what is being dictated in a way by business. I don't think that satisfies anyone, neither the makers nor the audience.
What actors influenced you, or did you admire? Both when you were getting started and...
I admire Bob De Niro from the beginning till today, even though, granted, you know, I don't like every role he plays. I don't like every movie. It doesn't matter, you know, that he does schlock in between and then shows you at the other end not only what a talent, but what a master he is, only heightens my respect and my admiration. So that's Bob De Niro. I always liked Cary Grant for the delivery and elegance and sophistication. I had a period when I worshipped Marlon Brando, and when I look at it now, I kind of cringe a bit. I saw not too long ago One-Eyed Jacks.
I've never seen it. Is it awful?
It's awful.
Okay.
You were saying how originally when you went to drama school, the techniques that they were giving you didn't really work for you that much, or a little bit at first. No? Never mind. Sorry. But at first you said, yeah, I don't know. But then you were also saying how you just gave a little bit more technique to go with it. Is there any other techniques that you put forth to each of your work that works for you really well?
Well, you know what's funny? You say it works for you. You've said that 3 times in your question. It works for you? Well, you got someone working for you?
No. No one working for me.
Exactly. It's not the technique that works for you. It's what you do. And what you do happens here, and not with something that someone sells you for your money as a technique that works for you. Apparently you're a drama student or you take acting classes or whatever. Don't. And don't believe in techniques working for you. If you don't open your horizon, no technique in the world will do it for you.
Thank you.
Off you go.